Good evening. Good evening. Let us begin where so many begin and so few finish, with this word surrender. I find that in our day it is a fashionable word. It is sung, it is posted, it is recommended at the faintest whiff of trouble, but rarely is it defined in a way that does not imply weakness or the laying down of duty. Surrender, as we are using it, is not collapse. It is not passivity. It is the conscious yielding of the private, anxious sense of me at the wheel to the Christ that already lives your life. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Do you see? It is not an outside power coming to manage you. It is God appearing as you, already present, already sufficient. Now, words are only auxiliaries. I am using them because we are together in a room built of words for a brief hour. But words sometimes are an interference. Presence heals. The ministry of the Spirit is not loquacious. In every true crisis, my conversation is usually limited to 3 words. I will help you. Then we grow quiet. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and make God. Not be still and persuade God. Be still and know what is. In that stillness, surrender is enacted, not by effort, but by consent. How shall we measure if this is surrender and not self-hypnosis? By your life experience, by the fruitage. By their fruits ye shall know them. If this surrender is true, there will be harmonies, not necessarily fireworks, not always instant drama, but steady, tangible fruit. Fear dissolving into peace, resentment softening into recognition, lack revealing supply where supply already was, a body answering, not to your opinions of it, but to life itself. If the words are sweet, but the days remain sour, then you have had an emotional jag, not surrender. Be honest enough to admit it and begin again. Surrender, then, is the simplest movement in the world, a willingness to step back 1 inch from the wheel and let the Christ drive who has been driving all along, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. That is not an invitation to drift. It is a call to a higher fidelity, a finer listening. This is not a lazy man's work. It is calm, it is gentle, but it is exacting. It asks of you one thing only: consent. Quietly. Now. Consent to be what you are in God rather than what memory or fear proposes. I will tell you how this looks in practice, and we will spend our hours together training it. But tonight, receive the foundation. We do not surrender courage, clarity, or love. We surrender the private claim to authorship. We surrender the strain. We acknowledge, as the Master did, I can of mine own self do nothing. And in the same breath, the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, spoken not to a distant figure on a Galilean shore, but to the Son that is God appearing as your very being. Yield to that. Consent to that. Do you follow that? Let us take the first of the great words, as. The infinite does not merely act upon you. The infinite appears as you. God is manifest as individual being. Do you see? Not God somewhere and you elsewhere, not deity above and mortal below, not two at all. I and the Father are one. The one life shows forth as the visibility you call your name, and as the visibility I call mine. God the invisible appears as Son the visible. This is the identity ground of our surrender. We are not handing ourselves to a foreign monarch. We are consenting to our own truth. When the voice from heaven declares, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Take it out of the museum case. Hear it now as the verdict upon your identity, and upon your neighbor's identity, and upon the one you are tempted to fear or resent. It is not flattery. It is ontology. It is not pep talk. It is revelation. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father does not set up a human idol. It unveils the fact that back of the features, back of the history, back of the cleverness or the awkwardness, stands the Christ of God as the animating reality. Look there. Look back of the eye and behold the one. This is why surrender does not sink you into passivity. Identity sight confers authority. When the authorship shifts from a small self to the ever-present Christ, action is not abandoned. Action is clarified. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. That is not a resignation letter. That is commission. It removes strain, not responsibility. It removes fear, not fidelity. You are not made less. You are made true. Yielding, then, is consent to be the Son, not abdication to be a cipher. Do you follow that? Practice this with your own face first. In your morning mirror, unsee the hero and the failure, the age and the youth, the praise and the blame. These are garments. Back of them, the I that says I am before Abraham was stands quiet. Whisper within, Father, manifest thyself as me today, as clarity, as honesty, as love. And then listen. Keep it inward. No banners. Presence does not advertise. It appears. And now extend that sight. A woman told me her office had curdled into distrust. She sat, grew still, and without naming names simply beheld, this is my beloved Son, over and over. As each colleague's face arose in thought, no argument, just seeing, in the next days, 2 misunderstandings straightened, an apology arrived unasked, and the pending decision that had frightened them all became plain. By your life experience, by the fruitage, this was not positive thinking. It was identity sight dissolving the mesmerism of 2 powers. Carry this into the street. When you meet the difficult one, resist the urge to fix their personality. Drop it. See the Christ. Then do the next sane thing. Make the call. Speak the truth. Sign the check. Bind the wound without strain, because the doer is God as you. In him we live and move and have our being. This is the as of existence. Consent to it. And you will find that surrender becomes not collapse, but stature, the stature of the beloved Son moving at the Father's bidding, naturally, quietly, effectively. Do you see? Now take the second of our little words, is. We are not setting about to manufacture God, to manufacture harmony, to manufacture life or supply. We are recognizing harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is, omnipresence is. I am. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are realizing it already is 4. Do you see? If the sum is true, your work is not to coerce the numerals, but to consent to the fact and let it govern the column. Spiritual practice is of that order. Thy word is settled in heaven, settled before you began to pray, before the appearance came on your screen. Our surrender, then, is to what already is, not to what we hope might be if we plead hard enough. This is why the first interior movement is always quiet. Be still and know that I am God. Not will be, Not maybe if conditions improve. I am. The kingdom of God is within you present, not postponed. Yielding is the dropping of the will to improve the picture, and the consenting to the substance, the picture, will follow. When you stop arguing with the mirror and adjust the face, the image changes without debate. So in practice, we turn from the mirror of sense, we rest in the fact, and then without strain, right action appears of itself. Let me show you the way of it. A man wrote me that his accounts were tangled and his staff anxious. He had made lists, sharpened pencils, lost sleep. One morning he pushed back from the ledger and said within, Father, thou art the order of this business as me. Then he grew still. He did not begin a campaign. He consented. In an hour, an email came unasked, releasing a payment he had given up on. A junior clerk volunteered a simple correction that unlocked the schedule. And most important, the fear left the room. The very tasks he had dreaded unfolded with a kind of ease that made him laugh at his old strain. By your life experience, by the fruitage, do not tell me a theory. Tell me whether isness was realized and whether it showed forth. This is not passivity. This is rest preceding directed motion. Take no thought for your life. Your Father knoweth. That is not license to drift. It is license to listen. Out of realized isness, the word arises. Call this one, forgive that one, pay this now, say nothing here. The doing as God as you. You will find yourself moving with accuracy and without fatigue. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord is always followed by go forward, stillness, then step. The more we live in isness, the less we argue with appearances. We stop swatting at shadows on the wall. We stop trying to pull apart the streetcar tracks that seem to meet at the horizon. We behold what is, and the horizon trick dissolves of itself. When fear says it is dark, we do not lecture the darkness. We turn on the light, drop the debate, consent to is. Whisper within, if you must use words, Father, thou art. Then listen. The appearance will yield as naturally as ice yields to spring. Do you see? Now we must be very clear what is laid upon the altar. We do not surrender responsibility. We do not surrender intelligence. We do not surrender love. We surrender mesmerism, the belief in two powers. In the Hebrew phrasing, we lay down the arm of flesh. Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm. Do you follow that? The arm of flesh is not anatomy. It is the trust in appearances, the leaning on personal will, the conviction that there is God and something else. Two powers. There is no something else. Error has no person, law, or substance. It is suggestion, not entity. Shadow, not thing. You have seen a rope at dusk and started back, certain it was a snake. Did the room contain a snake? No. Did your heart race? Yes. And what ended the fear? Not combat, not a stick, light. The entrance of thy words giveth light. So it is with every discord. You are not set the task of fixing snakes that are ropes. Drop the stick, turn on the light, consent to is. And the snake resolves into a rope without drama. Do you see? I speak sometimes of the non-existent white poodle. 100 witnesses can swear they saw it at the gate. None can produce it. You cannot heal a white poodle that never existed. You awaken from it. Likewise with the streetcar tracks that appear to converge at the horizon, the amateur walks down the tracks to pry them apart. The wise lift their eyes and realize they never met. Much of your strain is the pry bar at the horizon. Lay it down. The meeting never was. The only convergence is in God, and there is no second power with which to tangle. Therefore, give not a thought to the person or to the condition. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. If you wrestle persons, you confirm two powers, and you will be tired by noon. When a call for help comes, be very still. Do not gather facts. Do not ask for the narrative of how the snake grew. Whisper. If you must use words, I will help you. Then turn within, and behold, this is mesmerism, the arm of flesh, nothingness. Let that be clear. And then do the next sane, loving thing that presents itself. If a phone call is required, you will make it. If an apology is yours, you will give it. If a bandage is needed, you will bind it. But the doing will be clean, because it is not combat with a second power. It is God as you unfolding. A merchant phoned late, burning with injustice over a slander that threatened his accounts. I would not enter the courtroom of opinions. I sat and saw only the Christ of God as all involved. The heat drained from the words. In the morning, an email arrived retracting the charge and proposing a better arrangement than before. By your life experience, by the fruitage, what was surrendered? Not his courage, not his capacity, only the hypnotic pressure that there were two powers, his truth versus another's malice. Malice proved to be the white poodle. Resist not evil, said the master, which does not mean endorse wrongdoing. It means starve mesmerism of the resistance that feeds it. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. So we stand down the little executor and stand up as the beloved Son. We lay down mesmerism. We do not lay down our capacity to act. Action purified of two-power belief becomes precise, merciful, effective. Calmly now, see through the snake in the rope. Deny the non-existent poodle your attention. Stop prying at the horizon. Behold the one. Then move as that one bids. Do you see? Having laid the pry bar down, we must learn to hear. This is learned. This is trained. We begin, as all students begin, with the letter. Consciously know the truth. Prime the pump. I and the Father are one. All that the Father hath is mine. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Not as slogans, not as charms, but as simple acknowledgments of what is. The mind, busy with appearances, must be led to the door. These statements walk it to the threshold. Words are only auxiliaries. They do not heal. They usher. Do you see? Having thus come to the door, be still, close the book, close the lips, and wait. Be still, and know that I am God. Not argue, not repeat. Know. Let the inner assurance rise of itself, like light in a room you forgot had windows. This is the shift from letter to spirit. At first you say, reverently, I and the Father are one. Then Spirit says in you, without syllables, I am. At first you confess, Christ liveth my life. Then life lives, and the confessing ceases for a moment while you are carried. The still small voice is not dramatic. It is the absence of strain. It is the sense, the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Do you follow that? To cultivate this, appoint brief periods. 2 or 3 pauses in the morning, 2 or 3 in the evening. And as you are faithful, little pauses throughout the day. 30 seconds will do, a minute will do, but let them be clean. First, a line or two of truth to prime the pump. Thy word is settled in heaven. I and the Father are one. Then, hush, listen. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. Nothing may seem to happen. Fine, you are building receptivity, not collecting sensations. Tomorrow you will do it again. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. At the thresholds of the day, waking, meals, money, meetings, news, touch the truth and then listen. That is, pray without ceasing, not by many words, but by often turning. And keep your speech sparse in crises, outwardly present, inwardly, if you must use words at all, I will help you. Then, Father, thou art the life here. Peace, be still. A nurse wrote that in the corridor outside an ICU, she did only this. She would not gather stories. She stood as stillness. Within hours, a family feud quieted, a decision became plain, and a patient's panic ceased, though the monitors had not yet changed. After, the right call was made, not by debate, but by clarity, by your life experience, by the fruitage. As you persist, your major activity becomes listening. The letter becomes lighter. The pause is more frequent and more brief because the ear is trained. Guidance arises of itself. Call this one, wait there, speak now, be silent. My sheep hear my voice and they follow me. Action then is afterglow. You will find yourself doing what love bids without the old inner push. This is not laziness. It is the highest obedience. The strain belongs to the arm of flesh. The accuracy belongs to spirit. Quietly, daily, turn from letter to listening and let the Christ that lives your life declare himself as your very being. Then move in that liberty. Do you see? Now test this in the heat of conflict. The moment the spark flies, the email that stings, the tone that cuts, the face that hardens, let the first motion be stillness. Refuse the first reaction. Resist not evil. That does not mean accept injustice. It means do not feed mesmerism with your defense. Drop the arm of flesh. Drop the story you're about to compose. Drop the clever answer. Be still. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. In that breath, you have already changed the stage. Do you see? Next, behold, inwardly, not aloud, not as performance. This is my beloved Son, God appearing as this one and as me. I and the Father are one, and therefore we are not two powers colliding. We are one, life misunderstood. Look back of the eye, unsee the offense, unsee the charm, unsee the history. See only the Christ of God as the reality of both. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. Let that be the vision you carry for the room. If you must use words within, let them be few. Father, thou art the peace here. Peace, be still. Now impersonalize the offense. Do not attach guilt to a person. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. You are not dealing with a difficult man or woman. You are dealing with suggestion, with a snake mistaken for a rope, with a white poodle no one can find after the shouting ends. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Name it for what it is, mesmerism. a universal belief in two powers, and starve it. Resist not evil means deny it your resistance, deny it your identity. When the ridicule or accusation is heard, let it pass through the bush and not catch on your thorns. In that poise, you will hear the inner words speak. Be silent, postpone, embrace. Let your outer speech be few and clean. Be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Say only what love requires. A soft answer turneth away wrath, not because softness is strategy, but because love is authority. Sometimes love will say, gently, not now. Sometimes love will say, I was wrong. Forgive me. Sometimes love will say with firmness free of heat, that is not so. And here is the fact. The difference is pace. Allow peace to set the pace. Let the Christ do the works as you. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. A father told me his home had become a courtroom. At the next flare, he took one breath and inwardly saw his teenager as beloved son. He would not argue the poodle. He said only, I hear you. Let us sit 10 minutes and then speak. In that interval, the heat dropped. The needed truth was spoken without drama. A plan appeared that both could honor. In an office, a woman, falsely blamed, answered one sharp email with 4 quiet words, I will help you. Then she went within and held only Christ's identity for all names on the thread. Within a day, a hidden error surfaced. The blame dissolved without winners or losers, and a better procedure was born. By your life experience, by the fruitage, mark the signs. The tone softens yours first. Clarity of the next step arrives without push. A door opens that debate had sealed. If none of these appear, return to stillness. You have picked up the pry bar again. Lay it down. Behold the one. Consent to his. Then let love give you your word or your silence and move in that. Blessed are the peacemakers. They do not make peace by pressure. They reveal the peace that is. Do you see? Let us bring the same discipline to money. This is a loud theater for mesmerism because numbers pretend to be substance. Supply is not a pile of coins. Supply is the activity of God as you, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Do you follow that? You are not coaxing a reluctant universe. You are consenting to the fact of abundance already is. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Therefore, surrender here is not collapsing into wishfulness. It is quietly yielding the fear and greed current the arm of flesh and standing as the beloved Son through whom God appears as sufficiency. Refuse market hypnosis. It has 2 masks, fear and greed. Both are the same snake in the rope, the same white poodle at the gate. Give them no identity. Give not a thought to the ticker or the rumor as if it possessed power. Ye cannot serve God and mammon, which means you cannot divide allegiance between isness and appearances. Choose. Choose once more. Choose 100 times a day if needed. Practice at the point of payment. Hand on the card, pen over the check, browser on the cart, pause, whisper within, if you must use words, Father, thou art the substance here. Abundance is. All that the Father hath is mine. Then be still. Do not budget to fight fear. Let fear dissolve. Then budget. Do not give to bribe God. Let sufficiency be felt. Then give. Do not negotiate to rescue yourself. Let peace return, then negotiate. Order will arise as instruction. Reduce this, release that. Call her, accept this price. Walk away now. Let all things be done decently and in order. Action flows from peace, not to create it. Do you see? I knew a man who refreshed his accounts 20 times an hour, exhausted, ashamed, impulsive. One morning at 3 a.m., he laid the phone down and said within, "Father, thou art the flow and the fence of my affairs as me." Then he listened. He slept. By noon, he canceled 2 anxious trades, sold 1 position that had never belonged to him, and phoned a client he had avoided. A modest contract returned that afternoon enough. Exact, unforced. The larger fruitage was this. The compulsion was broken. In 2 months, the balance sheets were steady, without theatrics. By your life experience, by the fruitage, a mother at the market line felt panic at the total. She did not chant. She looked within. Abundance is. Give us this day our daily bread. She bought what was needful without shame. That evening, a neighbor offered a carpool that halved fuel costs. The next morning, a former employer asked if she had a few hours a week. Small? Perhaps. Sufficient? Yes. And her giving did not cease. She shared soup with a friend without strain. That is, supply the activity of God as you moving, not hoarded. Mark the signs of true yielding in money. Sufficiency when needed. Right opportunities that fit like a key. Generosity without performance or fear. Simple budgets that feel like clarity, not punishment. Quiet gratitude replacing drama. If the fear rises, do not wrestle coins. Drop the pry bar. Behold, the one, consent to, is. Then let love give you the number, the word, the step. Take no thought, your Father knoweth. From that knowing, write the check, ask for the raise, trim the expense, give the gift. The Christ doeth the works as you. Do you see? So when the body or the headlines speak with a sudden authority, let the first motion be the same. Silence. Refuse the reflex, to own the name, or argue the label. Depersonalize at once. This is suggestion, not a power. This is the arm of flesh. A universal belief in 2 powers, not a decree about life. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. If you are with the one who is afraid, keep your speech few and kind. I will help you. Then be still. Be still and know that I am God. Not will be, I am. Do you see? Turn within. Life is. The activity of God is your very life appearing as you. Whisper, if words help. Life is the activity of God, as me. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth my life. Let the meaning take you, not the syllables. I am the resurrection and the life. The law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus hath made me free from the law of sin and death. You are not forcing cells into order. You are consenting to the order that already is. As with the rope mistaken for a snake, it is not combat that frees. It is light. The same light that shows the rope shows forth right care and wise step. Right care may be a physician's wisdom, a day of rest, a cup of broth, or silence. Let guidance, not fear, choose. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Fear will try to hurry you or paralyze you. Love will pace you. Do not build the shrine to a diagnosis. and do not despise honest help. Listen, you will know. Call this doctor, wait one day, take the test, sit in the sun, say nothing, tell the truth. Outwardly, be practical. Inwardly, be presence. Avoid platitudes with the suffering. Do not tell them there are no accidents in divine mind. Be bread, not slogans. He sent his word and healed them. And often that word is silence with warmth, a hand that steadies, a ride to the appointment. A woman wrote that his scan came back with frightening marks. She did not argue the marks. She turned within. Father, thou art the life here, as me. Then she listened. She kept her appointment without dread. She stopped reading the forums. She slept. A second opinion clarified the finding. A simple course was given, no drama, no heroics, and she followed it without bargaining or gloom. Within weeks, the numbers moved soundly. More importantly, the fear had lost its seat, and peace, a clear, practical peace, governed the days. By your life experience, by the fruitage, life was not manufactured. Life realized, ordered the steps. Another home trembled under grim headlines. They would not bow to the white poodle of panic at the gate. Morning and evening, for 1 minute they consented to his. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, because thou hast made the Lord thy habitation. Then they moved with simple wisdom, not compulsion, clean hands, open windows, balanced news, neighborly care. The atmosphere of fear drained away. Sleep returned. Decisions were clean. Strength rose. Circumstances answered. Appointments timed rightly. Resilience without bravado. Tenderness increased. Mark these signs of true yielding and health. Fear subsides. Wise steps appear without push. The body or the circumstance responds in right order. Gratitude replaces drama. If these are absent, you have picked up the pry bar. Lay it down. Behold the one. Consent to is, then let love name the next small step and take it. In him we live and move and have our being. The Christ doeth the works as you. Do you see? Now we come to the test of all this. Not our talk, not our emotion, but our life. By your life experience, by the fruitage, when surrender is true, when the arm of flesh is laid down, and the Christ that already lives your life is consented to, you will find this. Solutions appear quicker. Words get fewer. Peace holds longer. The atmosphere changes before the furniture moves. The strain subsides, though the tasks remain. Do you see? That is fruitage. Not fireworks, harmony. Not display order. Mark the signs. Relationships ease. The edge comes off the tongue. The wish to win gives way to the willingness to see. You discover yourself saying, I will help you, instead of, let me explain you. Money circulates as needed, not as drama, but as a steady tide, and the fear metrics shrink while generosity becomes simple and unforced. The body quiets, breath deepens, sleep returns, gratitude ceases to be a discipline and becomes a climate. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. If it is following, you will feel the lightness of being led rather than the pressure of leading. A manager wrote that her team had been stuck for weeks. She entered the meeting without a speech and carried only this within. Father, thou art the wisdom here as us. She let the talk run its first heat, then said, as if speaking to one soul, I will help you. Silence fell of itself. In 12 minutes, not 2 hours, The point of jam revealed itself and untied. There were no winners, no losers, just a straight path no one had seen in the noise. Later she smiled and said, "It was as if time obeyed a new clock. Yes, my thoughts are in thy hand. Fruitage is not merely the fix, it is the rhythm, no hurry, no delay. If fruitage is thin, do not strain. Do not add syllables to make up for substance. Return to practice. More listening, less asserting. Words are only auxiliaries. They prime the pump. Let spirit flow." Check whether personalization has crept back. Are you seeing a difficult person or mesmerism? Are you arguing with the non-existent white poodle at the gate? Are you walking down the tracks to pry them apart? Drop it. Correct the sight line to as and is. God appearing as you. Harmony is. Supply is. Life is. Be still and know. Then let the impulse of love give you the next small step and take it. Let time be God's. Realization carries its own pace. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Waiting here is not postponement. It is alignment. You will notice an easeful timing calls land when hearts can hear. Funds clear when they belong. The body accepts care without argument. Reconciliations ripen without push. In due season we shall reap if we faint not. Do you follow that? Season is God's, not the calendar of fear. So measure gently. Are problems being solved faster, with less talk and steadier peace? Are relationships softening, money moving rightly, the body answering to calm, gratitude flowing without being forced? If not, be humble and happy to return to the altar. Prime the pump, then listen. Behold the one. Consent to is. The fruit will come of itself, as figs from a fig tree, as vines bear grapes. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. The Christ doeth the works as you, by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Now, beloved, when the practice grows steady, a subtler thing appears. Trying sneaks back in, wearing church clothes. It calls itself surrender while it refuses plain duty. It calls itself faith while it multiplies words. It calls itself zeal while it watches the clock for miracles. It calls itself devotion while it compares itself with neighbors and counts healings like medals. These are not sins to be punished. They are shadows to be seen through. When you notice them, do not argue. Drop it. Return to simplicity. Behold, listen, and act only as love bids. Do you see? First, surrender as avoidance. I have seen students trust God while letting bills rot in a drawer, duck difficult calls, postpone the apology love has already asked for. That is not surrender. That is fear baptized. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only. God appearing as you does not evade the sink. God as you washes the dishes and calls the creditor. The arm of flesh hides here in piety, refusing the next loving thing because it is small and humbling. Correct it at once. Do the next loving thing. If a word of truth is needed, let it be a line, Father, thou art the order here, and then put your hand to the plow. You will discover grace in the broom, order in the ledger, mercy in the voicemail. Fruitage will tell you you have surrendered because action will be clean and peace will stay while you act. Second, over-talking truth. In the presence of pain, many words are a whip. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. Do not antagonize the suffering with lecture. Do not trivialize grief with slogans. Words are only auxiliaries. Keep your speech sparse. Let presence do the heavy lifting. Outwardly, perhaps only, I will help you. Inwardly, Father, thou art. Then listen. Let your speech be yea, yea, nay, nay. If a phrase rises of itself, speak it gently. If not, hold a hand, pour tea, keep watch. I have resented it very much when someone started voicing truth to me in trouble. So will your neighbor be bread, not banners. The fruit will show breath easing, shoulders softening, the next step clear. Third, willfulness in holy clothes. You can tell it by the pressure. Declarations grow loud, timelines narrow, eyes flick to the symptom for proof. That is the arm of flesh with a halo on. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Correct it by consenting to isness. My times are in thy hand. Stop checking the horizon to see if the streetcar tracks have separated. They never met. Water the root in silence. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet. From realized isness, the word arises of itself. Now wait, call, rest, and the doing becomes accurate without strain. Fourth, spiritual ambition. The self takes a tape measure to its prayer, its hours, its cases, and either struts or sulks. That is the non-existent white poodle begging a ribbon. Give it nothing. He must increase, but I must decrease. He that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. Behold Christ, not the performer God, appearing as you and as your brother and as your critic. Then comparison has no oxygen. You are free to love, to learn, to serve. Keep a simple rule. Brief conscious knowing, long listening, kind action. One line to prime the pump. All that the Father hath is mine. I and the Father are one. Then hush. Listen until peace answers. Then do the next loving thing. That is all. When trying creeps in, return here. Behold, listen, act only as love bids. By your life experience, by the fruitage. You see, let us make it plain. A yielded day is a simple liturgy. Seeing, listening, loving action. Begin in the morning, 3 minutes. Before the hand finds the phone, find identity. As God appearing as you, whisper if it helps. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father, for I and the Father are one. Let that not be performance, but acknowledgement. Then is, presence is, harmony is, life is. Thy word is settled in heaven. Be still a full minute and listen. Words are only auxiliaries. They prime the pump. Let the assurance rise of itself. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hearing it addressed to you, and by grace to all you will meet. Then close this brief altar with consent. Father, live thy life as me today. Do you see? At doorways and meetings carry a quiet seal. Christ meets Christ. Not man meets problem, not ego meets history. Christ meets Christ. Keep your inward eye on identity, not behavior, on as, not on the latest mood. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. If heat flares, do not take the bait of two powers. Within, say only, peace, be still. Let your speech be few and clean when it comes. Pace is the sign. Love sets it. A soft answer may arise. A firm no may arise. A silence may arise. You are not managing outcomes. You are witnessing one life appearing as all. Do you follow that? At money moments, let each exchange be a sacrament. Pause with the bill, the cart, the contract. Abundance is. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Give us this day our daily bread. Let fear and greed be named mesmerism and dismissed. Wait for the inner rightness. Then act, pay, negotiate, decline, give. The test is the tone. Sufficiency first, action after. No bribes to God, no panic purchases, no pride gifts. Order will appear, because order is by your life experience, by the fruitage. When media blares or health headlines pound, impersonalize first. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Call it what it is, suggestion. The arm of flesh, the white poodle at the gate. Refuse opinions until peace returns. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night. 1 minute will do. Be still and know that I am. From that stillness, the next step is accurate. Read or refrain, call or rest, mask or meeting, doctor or day in the sun. Peace precedes the step. It does not follow it. Do you see? In the evening, a gentle review, not scorekeeping citing. Where did fruitage appear? Ease, clarity, sufficiency, tenderness. Where did trying sneak in? Note one correction for tomorrow. Behold sooner. Speak less. Listen longer. Give thanks. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. Then rest in this. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. He giveth his beloved sleep. This is not a lazy man's work. It is steady, childlike fidelity. Yet it is restful, because God doeth the works. Morning seeing, frequent listening, loving action, money a sacrament, headlines unfeared, evening gratitude. Repeat tomorrow, behold, listen, act only as love bids. By your life experience, by the fruitage. Thank you.